Hi, my name's Amy Babish. I've been supporting global leaders for over 20 years as a licensed psychotherapist and as a life, leadership, and relationship coach. I'm excited to offer my 5 tips for how to navigate feeling dissatisfied with life and not enoughness. My first tip might be contrary to what you already believe to be true. It's important with what I'm sharing that I'm not here to tell you what the truth is or what to believe, but to notice what you discover is true for you or any insights. I'm not asking you to listen for agreement. Back to my first tip. My first tip is to get out of your head and get into your body. When we are in a catch-22 with our not-enoughness or our dissatisfaction, we understand what we're dissatisfied about or feeling not enough around. We understand the concreteness of it, the facts of it, but we can't let go of the feeling of it. We can't let go of the stories we tell ourselves. We can't let go of the struggle or the fears or the rejections we might have. So learning to get out of your head and into your body is a somatic practice. I've been practicing somatically for 15 years, and all of the global leaders that come to see me are blown away with the potency of somatic work. Learning to come down and into your body through the breath and the heartbeat and the sits bones is a very basic practice. And once you're in your body, then you begin to navigate the sensations versus the stories. Once you're in touch with the somatic sensations, you can begin to disentangle from what you think to be true around the stories, the fears, the projections, or the beliefs. This practice is something that you can Google, but I recommend, if you struggle with it, to get in touch with an expert. The second tip I have is to not make meaning of the not enoughness. Now, this might feel super advanced, but some of you might feel like, wow, I never even thought of that, right? So when we make meaning of something, sometimes it's for the better, and sometimes it creates more struggle. So whatever you're telling yourself that makes the not enoughness or the dissatisfaction different than all the other ways you navigate complexities, I want you to get really curious about that. So if you have some other part of your life where there's not enoughness just because it's just the reality and you don't make meaning of it, get really curious. How did I learn to not make meaning of it? How do I not make it into a thing? How do I not make it bigger than it actually is? So this isn't to gaslight yourself. This isn't to deny or dismiss what might be happening on a concrete level. However, it's your choice with how you navigate it internally. So oftentimes when we learn to not make meaning of something that has been causing us a lot of stress or overwhelm, it really frees us up to get curious around how to deal with things in a much different way. The third tip is to ask yourself a very potent question. Now, this question moves us from being on the effect side of life to the cause side of life. And it takes practice when you might have been used to really only recognizing when you're on the effect side of life. So the question is, how did I create this? Now, this is a fascinating question, and everything I share is meant to be non-judgmental and compassionate. So the question, how did I create this, is really, really powerful when we're learning that we can make small decisions that will create dramatic shifts in our life. One of the best ways to notice how you're doing with this process is at the end of the day, taking stock of your day and asking a simple question such as, how am I feeling? Am I feeling satisfied, or am I feeling dissatisfied or frustrated or bitter or resentful or numb, right? So then you can get curious around, how did I create this? What did I choose? What did I not choose? How did I choose powerfully, or how did I give away my power? So the how did I create this question can create massive ripple effects in all parts of your life, but especially around dissatisfaction or not enoughness. My fourth tip brings us back to the body in a different way than somatic work. So most people that come to see me, and my hunch is most people who will be reading this article, are really incredibly intelligent people, that you're caught thinking thoughts most of the time and you're not in touch with what's happening in your body other than pain or discomfort, but you're not in touch with your body on a regular basis. My other hunch is that you really believe in health and wellness, and so you probably exercise, which is similar to most of my clients. So when I share this tip with you, I'm going to come back to the idea or the experience of exercise, but this isn't about exercise. So my fourth tip is to use intentional movement to shift the feelings of not enoughness or dissatisfaction. And the fun experiment that I'll offer to you is that you can pick out a favorite, really hard-hitting, fast beat song, which is probably anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, and to really allow yourself to release the sensations of the not enoughness or dissatisfaction. So you can do this through shaking, through stomping, through hooting, through hollering, through just letting yourself go wild. This is a place to really let it all out. And after you're finished with that song, I invite you to do a scan of your body to notice what's present, to notice what can shift in 2 to 5 minutes that you might not have been able to shake or shift in quite some time. And how this is different from exercise is that when we're exercising, we're oftentimes on autopilot. And there's nothing wrong or bad about autopilot, but it's not getting at the intentionality of what we're facing or our interesting ideas. So intentional movement can be a really powerful place to release. My fifth tip is really for all the people that have really impressive and important work in the world, where you're leading communities, you're leading big teams, you're leading organizations, and you are really focused on the not enoughness that surrounds you. And it might be your specific team, it might be a global issue, but when we really focus on everything else other than ourselves, we are creating a pattern that only perpetuates the not enoughness in the system that we're serving itself. And so my fifth tip is to work on yourself personally. Wherever you're feeling dissatisfied or not enough, this is the place where you have the opportunity to really set a precedent that you know that you're worth working through all of this stuff. When you're able to come into the office, come into the team, come into your family meal, come into your partnership, owning with agency and self-responsibility, I'm willing to face stuff that has felt immovable. It creates a ripple effect in the system that you're currently participating. You'll have more energy, you'll have more aliveness, you'll be just more of yourself, and people around you will dramatically respond to that. Then they'll be inspired to also work on themselves or to navigate things that have been challenging, such as not enoughness or dissatisfaction. And this isn't about doing it to make people do things. It's about understanding the impact that you'll have just by allowing yourself to have more life force and aliveness, by letting go and working through some of these interesting ideas and struggles. This is not just for your team or your family, but it also has a global impact. I hope that these 5 tips have given you a lot of food for thought, have sparked your curiosity, and that you're walking away with some actionable items that can support you through working through your not enoughness, the not enoughness in the world, and any dissatisfaction you might feel. If you have questions, you can always drop me an email, amy@amybabish.com. Sending you so much success, connection, impact, love, joy, and belonging for the big life you came to live.